Alex Wei is saying that the AI crisis has begun. And you know me, I love AI, so I really want to react to this video and check out what he has to say. So let's jump in.
Our generation might be facing a job crisis, the likes of which the world has never seen before. And if you happen to think I'm over-exaggerating about this, and rightly so even, let me just put it in this simple way. We are currently fighting a three-front war on the job market. On one side, you have multinational corporations outsourcing jobs overseas. On another side, mass immigration, both legal and illegal, flooding into the homeland of America, increasing competition in the labor market, and driving down wages. And now, there's the third front that's about to be opened up. I think you know what that is. It's AI. And it could completely change everything.
I agree with him because, yes, we are facing in like three different directions. Companies just hiring overseas because it's much cheaper. Like I spoke about in one of the videos, I'm from Serbia, so you have a lot of USA companies that are outsourcing our work, so they're hiring us, and there's a lot of them that are hiring from India, 5 people for the price of 1 USA person. And then immigration as well. We don't see it so much in Serbia, but even we are now starting to see a little bit of it because we have people coming from all sorts of different places coming to work here because they feel like it's a better solution than what they have facing at home. But it's not that much because we are not a rich country. You can see it everywhere that the immigration is just, it's wild. It's wild. And like people, some of them don't want jobs, but most of them do, and they want a normal life and they want to immigrate somewhere just to have a bit more stability and money. And they are then competing with the people from that country, right? The people where they're going to. So this is a problem. And then on top of the two, we're now having to compete with AI, which is worldwide, that expands in like 0.0000000 millisecond. It's like this, and it's tough.
It could genuinely tip the entire system over, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Because due to everything I've just said, it seems like there's a perfect storm right now to cause an economic crisis. And as usual, it seems like no one in power is doing anything productive about it.
Again, I agree. Like, it seems like they're kind of talking about AI, maybe like restricting it or something like that, but no actual real like steps are being made, especially like in these larger countries. And I'm just wondering, like, when people get replaced by AI, what will these people do? Especially people that are in their like 50s or 60s that are just barely there for retirement. Like, they can't just relearn something, and they're gonna need some type of living wage or something, because I mean, that needs to be somehow implemented into, okay, if, I don't know, if my position is being replaced with AI, I should be getting compensation for it or something like that.
But first I want to talk about my own story, because as many of you guys know, earlier this year, I actually made a video called I Lost My Freelance Writing Job to AI. You can watch that right here if you want, but that video went viral because it echoed the fears and anxieties of a lot of people. I mean, another reason why it went viral was because not only was the video itself about losing my job to AI, but there was actually an AI-generated description that YouTube automatically gave underneath the video. People found that funny, turned it into a meme and all that. But the one thing I actually found interesting about my video was how a lot of people in the comments seemed a lot more upset than even I was about the situation.
And I am upset. I'm upset that this is happening because this shouldn't be happening. I mean, okay, yeah, evolution, technology, all that stuff, but still, like, I know a lot of people that lost, especially writing jobs. And even, let's be honest, today, if I needed something written, like a blog or something, I probably wouldn't be hiring a copywriter. I would just use some type of either ChatGPT or some type of AI to produce it. So even I'm at fault for all of this because it's cheaper and it's easier and it's available 24/7. So even though I feel for him and I'm sad that he lost his job, especially to AI, I have to be honest and say I would first use AI because he would probably also use AI. I'm assuming that if for some reason we were not allowed to fire people and replace them with AI, I can almost guarantee you that he would be using AI to write anything that he needs to write, or at least double check and kind of get feedback from AI first. So we are all using AI and we are all a part of the problem, but we still need to talk about the problem.
Saying things like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. It must be so devastating to lose your job. We gotta all come together and fight back against AI. And just that kind of stuff, which by the way, I really appreciate. I genuinely appreciate the concern, and it means a lot that people care. But the funny thing is that I personally wasn't even that upset about it. And you know why? Because that was something I had already seen possibly coming, even months in advance. Because even back in 2024, when I was still working with that company, we were already openly discussing how to integrate AI into the workflow.
In my company, we were also talking about how to integrate AI and kind of where we can have it benefit us the most. And we were talking in terms of like, what kind of AI can we do that will replace XY person? So that was like an open discussion between colleagues that were tasked to figure out if we need AI, where can we implement AI? And this is an open discussion where you have someone saying, hey, what kind and what do we need to do in order to integrate AI so that it replaces XY person? And I can see that coming. I can see it coming for like in maybe 2 or 3 years. What can we do in order to replace Tamara? So we'll see it.
Help with things like just generating, brainstorming ideas, fixing errors during the editing process. And
yeah, and it all starts like let's integrate AI so it helps us. And then it evolves and you realize, oh, like the CEO realizes, I can make 20 blog posts in like 3 minutes. Why would I need a copywriter or anyone? That same is going to come for design as well. It's going to be like, oh, why do I need a designer when AI can just create an application for me, an application for me in like 5 minutes?
both myself and the company in other areas were already experimenting with AI in an effort to make work more efficient. So at some point, when I actually stopped getting those tasks assigned to me, those blog articles in my case, I wasn't shocked, I wasn't really taken aback. It was just a natural conclusion to think that, yeah, they probably just at some point decided to automate the entire process. And like I believe I made clear in the video, I have no hard feelings about it. I have nothing against the company or the people.
He doesn't seem like he has hard feelings about anything. I'm sorry, I'm judging a bit, but he's just so mellow. It's like, oh, the world's on fire. He's like that meme with the dog drinking tea, coffee, and like everything's burning around him. It's like, oh yeah, what can we do? I mean, you have to have a level of chill. That's actually a skill. That's a soft skill. You have to have a level of chill.
There, I don't blame them whatsoever. It's just a small business wanting to cut costs. It wasn't even like a giant corporation or something. So there's really no reason to be bitter about it. And as you can probably tell, I'm not one of those people who's like anti-technology and angry about AI, saying that we should just ban it and stuff like that. But I think my case really does illustrate a concerning trend that's, like it or not, going to start affecting more and more people in the near future. Now,
And I agree, this is going to affect a lot of people around the world, your neighbors, your mom, your dad, your daughters and sons and yourself included. Everything's going to be affected. we'll see how it actually develops, and we'll take it one step at a time as well. It might be just a bubble that's going to burst, or it might be something that we're going to see just having an upward trend. We'll kind of see where it goes. But for now, it does sound a bit kind of doomsday-ish, and like the world's over soon and we should duck and cover, I don't know, change what we're doing, all be plumbers, it seems.
In case you somehow didn't know, Gen Z is in such a strange place in history if you really think about it. Let me just put it this way. We're the first generation to grow up with AI, but also the last generation to remember life without it. That makes us both the pioneers of
Like us millennials, we know a world without the internet, without phones, and we now know a world where the internet is just a human right at this point, and we know a world that just, and then balancing the two in our heads, we're like, why can't it be like it was before? But yeah, I love my internet. So balancing out the two. But yeah, like nostalgia does hit. I have to say it does.
this new era in a sense, but also the guinea pigs or the test subjects to be experimented on. Because we're rushing into the future at 1,000 miles per hour, and no one really knows what this AI revolution is going to bring. You even hear things about the singularity, if you want to go down that rabbit hole. And speaking of the AI revolution, insofar that it is a revolution, don't forget what revolutions actually do. Revolutions destroy what came before them. And in this case, what came before the AI revolution is human labor, human jobs. So, by definition, it's a perfectly logical.
I mean, yes, I kind of agree, but revolutions are there to take something that was bad and create something that's good. At least that's what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I agree.
Concern to be worried about AI possibly wiping out the entire job market or a large swath of it. And the interesting thing about it is that it's primarily not the so-called low-skilled or manual labor jobs that are going to be the first ones to be replaced. It's actually the quote-unquote high-skilled jobs that are first on the chopping block. The jobs that all our parents said we should go to college for. They would say you want to go into tech, into STEM, you don't want to become a plumber. But now it low-key seems like plumbing might be the move. Because some of the first jobs that are going to be replaced by AI are things like coding, data analytics, engineering, the same white-collar jobs that we were all taught to pursue. And we're told that they're the safe options. They'll guarantee the most stability.
Yeah, I remember about 10 years ago, everyone was saying, learn to code, learn to create websites, learn to create apps. And like you're set, you're going to have a high paying job, like the stability is, it's there, it's on point. Like just go into that and learn and do that. And that's going to be enough. And lo and behold, soon it's not going to be enough. I think that in tech, everyone is kind of in their back mind, like in their heads, kind of thinking, okay, so if I get replaced by AI tomorrow, what am I gonna do? And I think that everyone's like, what skills do I have? Can I don't know, do binding, leather work, or can I build a car? Can I something like that?
Big number that I see referenced a lot is how Goldman Sachs estimated that AI could replace 300 million jobs worldwide in the coming years.
300 million jobs. That's 300 million people. I'm probably one of those. And that's scary to think about. And I agree that it's scary and doomsday-ish. We'll see.
300 million. That's like the entire population of America. And again, a lot of these are going to be in tech-related fields that many people spent 4 years in college studying for and going into debt for. But it's not just them, obviously. Creative work, too, is at risk of losing its humanity. Artists, animators, graphic designers, even writers and journalists, all of these jobs that represent relatively a higher level of personal expression, these are going to be phased out as well. Have you seen the new Sora AI videos? Those are crazy. Some of them look so realistic.
The videos on my feed that are popping up, there's two videos that I've seen. It's like selfie, and then the person is going from one movie set to another, like from Aquaman to Marvel to this, and kind of taking selfies with the main actors. I'm amazed. I'm just like, wow, like wow. But I also feel scared. I was like, okay, so someone can do an AI video with someone, maybe indiscriminating them or something like illegal. I went straight to criminal. I'm just like, okay, so someone can frame someone, blackmail someone, maybe even, I don't know, tear up families, relationships with AI. And how do you prove that? Like, imagine you having to prove to your husband or wife or partner, doesn't matter, hey, this is not me with that person, it's AI. And then the other person, because I'm assuming in big cases like the government and the police and everything might have actual ways to recognize that something is fake. But like just an ordinary person, like showing, hey, this is not me, and the other person's like, no, it is, see, that's you, and then they kind of either break up or there's a whole thing and like a whole shebang, like a picture. It's gonna be tough.
Now that it makes you think in a few years down the line, how are you even going to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's not? What's art made by a human and what's art generated by a computer? And this is a point I want to make that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. The death of creative jobs is actually going to hurt the culture. Because people like to mock, any kind of artist, designer, writer, musician, treat them like they have bullshit jobs and that they're unnecessary and all that, making fun of their college degrees. And I get that argument to some extent. A lot of what's driving innovation in the 21st century is just STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and those are seen as more prestigious subjects for good reason. But at the same time, especially if you do claim to be a conservative or a traditional kind of person, it's hard to deny that things like art, literature, design, these things have been cultural pillars of the very Western civilization that we're trying to preserve, right? For example, you can literally look at a society's soul through its architecture. The great cathedrals of Europe, the beautiful palaces of East Asia, and here in America, think about the early skyscrapers of New York. They represented true vision and ingenuity, humanity in a way, just pushing the boundaries of not only what is advanced, but also what is beautiful at the same time. But we as a society in 2025, it seems like there's no value in beauty anymore, as cringe as that might sound. But really think about it and look around. Everything just looks lifeless and soulless. Corporate buildings, gray boxes everywhere, minimalism as an excuse for cheap design. The common example people refer to is look at McDonald's 30, 40 years ago versus the McDonald's today. The life has been taken out of it. It used to be fun, vibrant, social. Now it's just dull, trite, and, like I said, minimalist.
And as a designer, I agree. Everyone wants now, oh, just make it minimal, just make it modern, just make it airy, just make it bold and stuff like that. And I agree. Like some things, yes, some things make sense, right? Because you want the user to focus and you want to get the point across. But things like this, like McDonald's, why? It needs to be a fun place. I am coming to McDonald's to have fun. This is a nice, vibrant place. Why am I now seeing gray everywhere? Even in Serbia. Like we have McDonald's is now just, it's either in a food court and the one McDonald's, in at least in where I live, the one McDonald's that you have is just grayish. There's like wood tones and stuff, but it looks more like I don't know, like a Mad Men modern kind of joint than it does McDonald's, the happy place.
And if you think this is bad already, think about what's gonna happen when the AI slop comes around. When everything becomes not only just sterile and purely optimized for efficiency, but also possibly even uncanny. So maybe we're not just losing jobs, we're losing what makes civilization worth.
Books. Books, guys. We just went to the library with our toddler and he picked out a book, picture book. I didn't look that closely to what he was kind of, I just saw that it was for kids. Okay, let's go. Let's take it. Came home, I opened it up and I was just like, this is it. This is already AI. This book is already AI, and started reading it. And I'm just like, this text was produced by AI because it's so stupid. Like, there's no way that this was pushed to be a published book. It's AI, and the pictures are AI. It didn't make sense.
Building in the first place. Think about that. And I know there are people who say that new technology just creates new jobs and that humans always learn to adapt. And that definitely could be true. I for sure hope it is. I'd love to be wrong about this. But the reason why this time feels a little bit different than in the past is because, for example, take the Industrial Revolution of the 1800s. Sure, machines might have replaced a lot of the physical labor, but people still had a purpose in that they were the ones who controlled it. That's how things have always been for new inventions. No matter what the invention, it still had to be manned by a human. Because we have minds, we have consciousness, we have intelligence. I mean, some of the trolls in my comments might not have that last part, but you know what I mean. But now, AI, well, it literally stands for artificial intelligence. Machines aren't just replacing a task, they're going to potentially be replacing the process of thinking and creating itself. So when that's gone, what do we as humans have left to do? And another common solution I hear proposed is about universal basic income. Oh, we'll just, sort of redistribute the money that AI creates because there's so much additional money from the productivity that it can go back towards the people who might have lost their.
Yeah, but how do you then decide who's going to get how much? And I know universal basic income, so everything's going to be the same. But still, I don't want to be getting what my neighbor's getting. I want more. I want to improve. I want to be better. Or like my college degree or their high school diploma shouldn't be the same. And not just diploma, like disregard education level, just like experience level. Why I don't want to be at the same financial level with someone that was earning like a minimum wage with me, and we both lost jobs to AI, and now we're both on universal basic income. That's where it gets tricky.
Your jobs due to AI? But let's just be real about it. Do you really think the government, at least the way it is today, would actually give wealth back to the people? Of course not. Do you think the corporations are not just going to try to funnel all that extra wealth from the productivity to enrich themselves? Of course not.
Yeah, what you're going to see is just a bigger divide between the rich, the ultra rich, and the poor. It's going to be ultra rich and ultra poor. At least that's how my head is going.
Anything, the AI revolution is going to cause one of the biggest wealth transfers in all of human history. Because the people who own and operate the AI, before the AI just takes over everything, well, they're gonna get richer than ever. But on the other hand, the people who aren't in control of the AI are simply going to be left behind, scrambling for whatever scraps of society are left. That last line might have been a little bit of hyperbole, but you know what I mean. Point is that it's going to create even more income and wealth inequality than ever before. the difference between the haves and the have-nots is going to be so vast. And when that happens, there are going to be very few haves who have everything, very many have-nots who have nothing, but also nothing to lose, and are going to be very angry. So logically, what do you think happens from there? And that's why all of this isn't just about
War happens. Civil unrest happens. Just full on bad things happen.
economics in a vacuum. It's about societal stability as a whole. Because once enough people start realizing that the system isn't working for them anymore, and they don't have a stake in the game, that's when things start to collapse and get dangerous for everyone. But let's zoom out for a second though. Instead of catastrophizing about the future, let's just bring it back to the modern day 2025. To go back to my original point at the beginning of the video, AI isn't just happening in isolation. It's just the latest front in a much bigger war on the job market. Again, if you think about it, it's three fronts simultaneously: outsourcing, mass immigration, and now AI. But let's start with the first one, outsourcing. For decades now, multinational corporations have been shipping jobs overseas to save costs. There was a story, for example, about this hotel chain that was literally using some Indian guy on a screen on FaceTime to man the front desk. And it's just hard to believe that in a developed country like America, something like that can even happen. It kind of even hits at your
Okay, this is the first time that I've seen this, but this is on a whole nother level. Like, I get like call centers, data entry, data kind of the centers. I get like paperwork type of things, manufacturing and stuff like that. But like having to go to, I don't know, a hotel and like the front desk is a screen, that would be weird. That would be weird.
national pride almost. Like, why is this happening in what's supposed to be the greatest country in the world? But in general, not only things like customer service, but also higher skilled labor like coding, data analytics, engineering, industrial manufacturing even. They're all being moved to places where labor is much cheaper and these companies don't have to pay American wages. So American people aren't getting those jobs.
Also, what's happening, for example, here in Serbia, you have our government is subsidizing, I can't say that word, foreign investors to come and open factories here so that our employment rate can go down, so that people get employed, right? So they offer, I don't know, tax, lower taxes or even no taxes for a certain period of time. They offer free land where they can build their factories in. So they offer all sorts of different things just to get foreign investors to come here, which is all fine. The problem is that these investors take everything that they can get, hire like 1,600 people, a lot of people, a lot of employees. They manufacture for like 3, 4, 5 years what Serbia is telling them that they need to be here for in order for it to be kind of for the investment to pay off itself. But then after 5 years, they literally just overnight shut down the factory because it's cheaper for them. They're like, we're not paying for the taxes for all of these people and their income tax, or like what we need to pay for sales tax and all of these things. We're not paying that. And then they just close shop overnight, literally, and move on to the next country where the country is saying, hey, come here, open arms, come here. And that's all cheaper for them.
These are corporations that are multinational in nature and don't represent the best interests of America. And they don't even try to hide it anymore. CEOs brag about things like efficiency and global competitiveness and all those buzzwords. And it sure means profits for them. I'm sure they're happy about it, but people in this country are struggling to find jobs. America's biggest competitor or adversary, obviously, is China. And these companies, they don't care about America's interest, so they outsourced a lot of their manufacturing to China, aka a lot of American.
The one of the best things that I've seen is they outsource manufacturing to China for like small parts. Then they import those small parts and then they assemble the parts in America or in Germany or wherever. And then they put a tag, a label, made in Germany. Because, like, or made in USA. Because it is like the final product, the phone, the, I don't know, the car, the this, whatever. In the end, it was made in Germany, but all of the parts, all of the machines that are necessary to create that item were from China. So I don't know. That feels also.
Companies have their products assembled in China, and that not only took away millions of potential jobs from Americans, but allowed China to become an industrial powerhouse to the point where, for a lot of industries, we're just relying on them. Anyways, that's the whole thing about outsourcing. There's so much more to say. I could go into a whole video about it, but these are just some basic points I wanted to bring up. The other third of the equation is mass immigration. I can already imagine all the woke people getting angry, getting ready to type out their angry responses in the comments. But no, this is an issue that I think we need to have an honest conversation about. And I know that there actually are a lot of very reasonable, open-minded left-wing people who watch my channel, and that's something I appreciate. You're always welcome here. But yeah, both legal and illegal immigration is flooding the US job market, like it or not. Currently, there are.
I know he's only talking about the US, but any more developed country is having an issue. Even Serbia is having an issue with the job market. So I think it's a worldwide problem that wasn't caused by AI. I think that this is just something that has been happening. So any richer, better developed country, Sweden, Germany, all of them are facing a high level of immigration and a big problem with it.
Around 14 million illegal immigrants in America. And now how many legal immigrants are there? We get over 1 million new legal immigrants per year, a lot of them on things like H-1B visas. The point is that this is an issue because this mass influx of people is not only increasing the competitiveness for these jobs, but also decreasing the wages because many of these people from other countries are willing to work for much less. These wages can't really go up when there are millions of people willing to undercut them. And on a side note, on a tangent, it also could be driving up housing prices too. And that's just basic stuff I'm just mentioning to have it on record. But now,
so just to give you an example how immigration actually affects housing prices. This wasn't immigration in the sense of like someone coming here to work, and this is more like we're fleeing a country. So when the Ukraine-Russia war started, a lot of Ukrainians and Russians just fled to Serbia because we have a good relationship with them. They just like overnight just flooded Serbia, and all of the prices for rent like just skyrocketed, and they haven't come down. They haven't come down. And the people from Serbia are left with paying those prices, even though our wages are nowhere near good enough to be able to cover those prices.
I want to talk about something that politicians and the media, and really any other commentator in this space, won't tell you. Because here's what a lot of people miss in all this, including almost everyone who considers themselves on the right and claims to be anti-immigration or whatever. You want to know why the borders are so open? Why our government willingly allows millions and millions of people to flood in every single year? It's not purely because they're incompetent. It's also not purely because they're woke and have this diversity agenda. I mean, that's part of it, but I think that diversity agenda actually belies something even deeper. The fact that corporations who are really in control of our government through lobbying, they're the ones who want mass migration. They're the ones who want millions of people from third world countries to come into America and do the dirty work for them so they can keep their wages low and that keeps their profits high. And big business lobbies the government to either look the other way or even encourage expanding immigration policies. It's simply in their best interest. And this illustrates a bigger problem I find with the political right, that Republicans are simultaneously anti-immigrant, but also support basically an unregulated free market. But the hard truth is that you can't possibly be both of those at the same time, because if you have a totally unregulated, laissez-faire free market, then these corporations who have all the power are going to want all these immigrants to come in because they bring cheap labor and they're the most efficient way to increase profits. That's why if you do think mass immigration is an issue, then logically you also have to be in favor of some sort of regulation or restrictions on corporations, prohibiting them from hiring these people, cheap labor from third world countries and illegal immigrants. And just to be clear, for the few open-minded left-wing people who watch my channel, it's absolutely nothing against these immigrants whatsoever. It's just that American citizens are struggling. American citizens aren't even being fully taken care of. So how can the country take on the burden of more and more people?
But even see how I know he's talking about the US, but even here, so we are considered a third world country, a second world country. Even here, the citizens are at a disadvantage. It's always the ones that are coming in, migrating into Serbia or just passing through Serbia that have way more rights than what we like. The help is there. I wouldn't say they have far more rights. I think we have the same rights, but it seems like they have an upper hand somehow.
Every single year that only increase competition and undercut wages. It's not their fault, it's just reality. And now, on top of both the issues of outsourcing, jobs going abroad, and then mass immigration, people from other countries taking jobs in America, now you have, of course, the AI crisis. And when combined with the previous two fronts of this three-front war on the job market, this could be the straw to break the camel's back. This could be the last domino to fall before a total economic collapse. I'm not saying this for the sake of sounding scary. I'm saying this to sound the alarm so that some of you guys might be more prepared for a case in which something like this does happen.
And I appreciate that. I just don't know what prepared means. What am I preparing for? How do I prepare for it? What do I do? What are the steps? I get what he's saying. It's just that how do I do this? If someone knows, leave a comment. I would love to know how you're preparing.
Happen. Again, with this trifecta of outsourcing, immigration, and AI, each one individually would be an issue in and of itself. But all three at once is how you destroy an economy and how you destroy the future of an entire generation economically.
Chapter 4.
Whatever happens in the future, it is what it is. I don't think things are slowing down or changing anytime soon. I hope I'm wrong. So I think the only thing we can do, and that we should do, is to be mentally prepared for what could be coming. And one important distinction I do want to make, if it wasn't already clear, even though I'm someone who has personally been affected by AI, and I personally have a grudge against AI, if you want to call it that, I think that we can't afford to be naive about it either. The goal isn't to run from technology or to ban it completely. It should be to control it in an optimal way. I know some people genuinely hate AI and want to see the world get rid of it, but not only do I not think that...
Yeah, I don't hate AI. As I said, I actually use AI and it's great. So I'm not against AI. I don't think that we should ban or pull the plug from AI. And I don't think that will ever happen. Like the innovation's there and we should innovate and it's going to help a lot of people. But I am worried that by unregulating it or leaving it unregulated, it's going to cause issues.
That's realistic. I don't think it's strategic either from an American perspective. Because if America stops innovating in artificial intelligence, that's not going to make China stop. That's not going to make Russia stop. So it kind of leaves us no choice. We either innovate with the rest of the world, compete with the rest of the world, or get left behind. So I think that the ideal situation is that we have a system where AI development still continues, of course, specifically for research and innovation purposes, and to understand the technology better, but with very important regulations in place to protect workers and make sure the working class doesn't collapse, and overall help rebuild the social fabric of this country. But at the same time, if we're being real, do you trust our government to handle that properly? Let me know in the comments. But back to what to do on an individual level, I think the only real solution, as it is for almost all things in life, is to stay aware, stay informed. And this might sound
Stay aware, stay informed, stay educated, just know what's going on, kind of follow the trend and take it one step at a time, sort of.
cheesy, but genuinely to become the best and strongest version of yourself so that you can sort of be ready for any challenges that are thrown your way. Because in general, the world ahead of us, I think our whole generation knows that it's not going to be easy. But if you're prepared, if you're strong, if you're able to adapt, then I think you'll come out of it better than most people at least. And we can be an example of how the hard times create strong men and all of that.
Okay, thank you, Alex, for this great video. And if you want, go to Alex's channel. I'll leave the YouTube video link in the description below. Follow him. At the end of the video, he talks about how you can support him. So go and definitely check him out. Check how you can support him because he probably needs it. And yeah, we need to support him in order for him to continue creating all of these awesome videos. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex. We've heard a lot today, and it's running with the theme, which is AI will take over the world, it seems, at some point. But let's not be doomsday-ish. Let's just take it one step at a time and just focus on what's currently being kind of developed, what's being done. Of course, kind of try to prepare for the future, but stay aware, stay informed, and just ask your friends, how are you? Build social connections. Because one thing that AI will never replace is emotional intelligence. Because emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence doesn't have emotions. So it will never replace emotional intelligence, and socializing and just being around people and being emotionally intelligent is something that you can always have, and you will probably always have. So focus on that as well. Or maybe jobs in that field, like a therapist, a psychologist, or something in those lines. Yeah, so if you like this kind of videos, these commentaries, be sure to like the video, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.